Okay.
Dr. Shiva, give you a quick breakdown. He's brought suit in Massachusetts based on, because that was also a locals question. Viva Barnes Law locals.com. He brought up basically that he believed that Twitter was, he thought state government actors were conspiring with social media, Twitter in particular, to suppress him during a campaign in his candidacy and other speech-related issues. The suit, I reviewed the suit. Some people had asked me whether I could represent him. I can't because he sues too many people. Because he sued somebody who I represent. So the answer is no. God bless him, but maybe don't sue everybody, Doc. But the second thing is his suit has not got past. It's still a motion to dismiss stage. What happened is the judge requested that he get a lawyer because he's been representing himself pro se for a big part of the case. People were pointing out information he's brought to the public attention, which is good, but it's not from discovery. There was some misapprehension out there. He's also not got past the motion to dismiss stage. It's still pending, waiting for him to get a lawyer for them to do another hearing on that.
Let's back it up right to the beginning, though, just so it's clear for everybody. Dr. Shiva is not suing Twitter. He is suing the government directly on the basis that the government basically colluded with Twitter and that it wasn't Twitter censoring under its 230 immunities, bypassed that by alleging that it's actually the government working with in concert directing Twitter and therefore going straight after the government for First Amendment violations. At the stage of a motion to dismiss, the judge apparently, if I'm taking Dr. Shiva's summary of the situation at face value, the judge ordered communication of documents, and apparently Dr. Shiva received something of a manual, if it's not like
what he got, though, wasn't that, I think. So I don't know if he misunderstood or someone else misunderstood. The documents he's citing are from 2018 and they're public documents. So that I saw in the court docket. Okay. So there is a request for discovery, but the judge hasn't ordered it yet and everyone's objecting. And somehow Twitter has been made apparently a party to the case now. And there's a bunch of amicus briefs being filed. It's unfortunate. Brennan Center and other people are taking the big tech side that's saying controlling election misinformation is critical. So the short answer is Shiva's case hasn't got very far yet. It hasn't got past the motion to dismiss, hasn't yet got into discovery. He cited some useful information and has cited a good legal theory. But it's, to be frank about it, the better case is the case that Bobby Kennedy and the Children's Health Defense is bringing against Facebook. So that case is a little bit better developed from a factual legal perspective. Credit to Dr. Shiva for trying to do what he can do. But there were some public beliefs about the case that at least I didn't see on the docket, put it that way.
Okay. And the document that Dr. Shiva, either stumbled across or was, whether or not it was always public, the document that Shiva is referring to apparently basically illustrates that the government is a special partner with Twitter and they have a direct line to Twitter to, on the recommendation of government, go after specific accounts or specific posts. And the argument is going to be, the government is basically directing Twitter
in the election context.
Yeah.
So this was public. They actually discussed this before Congress in 2018, and Harvard put out a report saying they were going to do it in 2018. But it was supposed to be. It was under the premise that they were targeting foreign disinformation. So they were never crystal clear, but they made various statements throughout 2020. They said they were going to do this, and then they did do it. I mean, I don't think Laura Loomer ever I think she was taken off of Twitter, and even though she was a congressional candidate, a Republican nominee for Congress, in a relatively high-profile race. I mean, probably in terms of media coverage, one of the top 100 cases, elections contests. Still, I don't think she ever got reinstated. So it's part of that. Part of what happened to her is why Florida passed that law. But in terms of challenging big tech, I wish Dr. Shiva the best of luck. Bobby Kennedy's case and the Florida case are much stronger cases for challenging big tech right now.
And we've talked about this before. Pro se litigants, oftentimes they can be just as competent and even more competent than many lawyers. It becomes there is an impression that goes into things when you're dealing with a highly litigious pro se litigant. Justice is human, and judges come to conclusions even before any evidence has been adduced. So there's that. Sorry, go ahead.
It's the judge who basically wanted him to get a lawyer, and credit to the judge. That's the judge wanting to make sure all the arguments are really fully heard, because you talk about an underdog, man. He's up against it. I mean, that they brought in. I mean, there's all these amicus people appearing. There's all the big corporate people. Wilmer Cutler's involved. That's always Twitter's lawyer. So he's you talk about a David Goliath. That's definitely a David Goliath. So credit to him for trying to fight it out. It's just my advice to him: quit suing everybody else, Doc.
And I'm going to say we just hit 2,100 live viewers on Rumble. So that's 10,000 people watching between Rumble and YouTube, and that's phenomenal. Okay, so that's Dr. Shiva, everybody. I looked into it briefly. We'll cover it when there's news. We weren't avoiding it for any particular reason. I just, there's
Just
so much
waiting to see what would happen on the motion to dismiss.
And the lawsuit itself, it's pretty straightforward. It's alleging that the government is basically directing Twitter to censor for its own benefit. So